Good morning. In this lecture, we'll discuss about bounded linear transformation. So let n and n1 be a norm linear space with some scalars, and T is from n to n1 is a linear transformation. T is said to be continuous if and if only for any sequence xn in n converging to x belongs to Bn. The sequence Txn in n1 converges to Tx in n1. So if there exists a real number k greater than or equal to be 0 such that norm of a tx is less than or equal to be k times norm of ax for every x belongs to Bn, then this k is called a bound for t, and such a t is called a bounded linear transformation. So let t be a linear transformation of a norm linear space n into the another norm linear space, say n1, then the following statements are equivalent to one another. Number 1, t is continuous. Number 2, T is continuous at origin, that is xn converges to be 0, then Txn converges to be 0. Number 3, there exists a real number k greater than or equal to be 0 such that norm of a Tx is less than or equal to be k times norm of Ax for all x belongs to Bn, that is T is bounded. If we have a closed unit sphere in n, that is the set is the collection of all those norm of x such that norm of Ax is less than or equal to be m1, then its image is bounded set in n1. So first of all, we'll discuss the equivalence of statement number 1 and statement number 2. So now let T be a continuous and xn be a sequence in n such that xn converges to be 0. Then by the continuity of a T, for xn converges to 0, we have Txn converges to be T of a 0 which is equal to be 0. Conversely, let T be continuous at origin and xn be a sequence in n such that xn converges to be x belongs to be n. Then xn minus x converges to be 0, or you can say that the T of xn minus x converges to be 0. So T of a xn minus tx converges to be 0, and that is the Txn is equal to be a tx. Hence T is a continuous map. Txn converges to be tx here. So this is the definition of a continuous map. So now we'll discuss of the equivalency of a statement number 2 and statement number 3, that is T is a continuous at origin, and then we have a there exists a then T is a then there exists a real number k such that norm of a tx is less than or equal to be k times norm of ax, that is T is a bounded. So continuity implies boundedness here, and the boundedness implies the continuity. So let T be continuous at origin, and suppose that T is not bounded. That is, there exists no real number k such that the norm of a tx is less than or equal to be k times the norm of ax. Then for each positive integer n, we can find a vector xn such that norm of a txn is greater than n times norm of axn. Or we can rewrite this like a norm of a txn over the n times norm of axn is greater than 1. And we took the norm over the here, we can get the norm of a txn over n times norm of axn is greater than 1. Or this can be rewrite as the T of xn over the n into norm of axn is greater than 1. And take the yn is equal to be xn over the n times norm of axn, and took the norm over the yn, so we get that this is equal to be 1 by n, and take the n converges to be infinity, we get this converges to be 0. So yn converges to be 0, but T of yn does not converge to 0 since the norm of a T yn is greater than 1. Hence T is not continuous at origin, which is contradiction. Hence T must be bounded. So our supposition is wrong here. So now conversely, suppose that T is a bounded such that there exists a real number k greater than or equal to be 0 such that the norm of Tx is less than or equal to be k times norm of Ax for all x belongs to Bn. So now we have to prove that the T is a continuous at origin. So let xn be a sequence in n such that the xn converges to be 0. The norm of axn also converges to be 0. And we have already given that the norm of a txn is less than or equal to be k times the norm of a xn for each n. Therefore, norm of a txn converges to be 0, or txn converges to be 0. Hence, we get the result. So now we discuss the equivalency of the statement number 3 and statement number 4. Now here the statement number 3 is said that there exists a real number k greater than equal to 0 such the norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k times norm of Ax for all x belongs to Bn, that is T is a boundedness, T is bounded. And if statement number 4 is if the we have a closed unit sphere in N, then its image is bounded set in N1. So now we discuss the proof of this one. Suppose that T is a bounded such that there exists a real number k greater than equal to be 0 such that norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k times norm of Ax for all x belongs to Bn. And assume that x is any point of the closed unit sphere S such that norm of Ax is less than equal to be 1. Then norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k for all x belongs to Bs. So it follows that the Ts is a bounded set in a N1. Now conversely, suppose that the Th is a bounded set in S so that there exists a real number k greater than equal to be 0 such that norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k for all x belongs to Bs. If x is equal to be 0, then Tx is equal to be 0. So norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k times norm of Ax. And now if x is not equal to be 0, then x by norm of Ax belongs to Bs, as the norm of x by norm of Ax is equal to be 1. Therefore, the norm of a T of a x by norm of Ax is less than equal to be k, or 1 by norm of Ax into norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k, or we can say that the norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k times norm of Ax. Hence we get the result. So now we will discuss up that this linear transformation, we will define it up. The set of all those linear transformation is a Banach space. So let B and N1 be set of all bounded linear transformations of norm linear space N into a norm linear space N. Then B and N1 is a norm linear space with respect to a pointwise linear operations T plus U of x is equal to be T of Ax plus U of Ax, and alpha of T of Ax is equal to be alpha times T of Ax. And norm defined here by the norm of a T is equal to supremum of a norm of a Tx such that the x belongs to be N and norm of Ax is less than equal to be 1. Further, if N1 is a Banach space, then B and N1 is also a Banach space. The set of all boundary linear transformation is also a Banach space. So there is a condition over the N1. If N1 is a Banach space, then this set of all boundary linear transformation is a Banach space. So first of all, we'll check it out whether there are two parts out here, that the set of a boundary linear transformation is a norm space, and then we will prove that the set of a boundary linear transformation is a Banach space. So we know that the set of all linear transformations from a linear space to linear space is also a linear space with the pointwise linear operations. So to prove that the set of a boundary linear transformation from N to N1 is a linear, it is sufficient to prove that the B and N1 is a subspace of AS. So let T and U belongs to be this set of a boundary linear transformation from N to N1. Then T and U are bounded. So there exists a real number k and L such that norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k times norm of Ax, and norm of a Ux is less than equal to be L times norm of Ax for all x belongs to be N. If alpha and beta are scalars, then the alpha t plus beta u into of the x norm is equal to be the norm of alpha t x plus beta times ux, which is less than equal to be norm of alpha times tx plus beta times ux, which is equal to be modulus of a, by the definition of the norm, this is equal to be modulus of a alpha into norm of a tx plus modulus of a beta norm of a ux. This is less than equal to be modulus of a alpha into k into the norm of Ax plus modulus of beta into L into the norm of Ax, which is equal to be modulus of a alpha into k plus beta modulus of beta into L into norm of Ax. So thus alpha t plus beta u belongs to be a set of all boundary linear transformation from N to N1. Thus the set is a linear subspace of AS. So now to prove that this set of a boundary linear transformation is a norm linear space. Now since norm of a t is equal to be supremum of a norm of a tx such that the x belongs to be n and norm of ax is less than equal to be 1 and norm of a dx is greater than equal to be 0, thus norm of a t is greater than equal to be 0. To get the first property is being proved up. So norm of a t is equal to be supremum of a norm of a tx such that the x belongs to be n and norm of ax is less than equal to be 1, which is equal to supremum of a norm of a tx over the norm of ax such that the x belongs to be n and x is not equal to be 0. So norm of a t is equal to be 0 implies that the supremum of the norm of a tx over the norm of ax is equal to be 0, which return implies the norm of a tx is equal to be 0 or t is equal to be 0. Now if alpha is any scalar, then norm of a alpha t is equal to be a supremum of a norm of a alpha tx such that x belongs to be n and norm of ax is less than equal to be 1, which is equal to be supremum of a modulus of a alpha into the norm of a tx, which is equal to be a modulus of a alpha into the norm of a t. So the property is satisfied. Now we discuss the triangular inequality. So let T and U belongs to be a boundary linear transformation from n to n1. Then norm of a T plus U is equal to supremum of a norm of a Tx plus Ux such that the x belongs to be n and norm of a x is less than equal to be 1. Now this is by the property that's less than equal to be supremum of a norm of a Tx plus supremum of a norm of a Ux, which is equal to be norm of a T plus norm of a U. So we get the result of a triangular inequality. So hence the set of a bounded linear transformation from n to n1 is a norm linear space. So now we have to prove that this set of a bounded linear transformation from n to n1 is complete if n1 is complete. Now suppose that n1 is complete and Tn be a Cauchy sequence in a bounded linear transformation from n to n1. Then norm of a Tm minus Tn is converging to 0. So for each x belongs to be n, we have a norm of a Tmx minus Tnx is equal to be norm of a Tm minus Tn of x is less than equal to be norm of a Tm minus Tn into norm of ax, which converges to be 0. Hence the sequence Tn is a Cauchy sequence in n1 for each x belongs to be n. Now, since n1 is complete, so there exists a vector Tx belongs to be n1 such that the Tnx converges to be Tx. So first we show that this T is a linear and bounded. So let T of alpha x plus beta y is equal to be limit of a T of n Tn alpha x plus beta y, which is equal to be a limit of a alpha Tnx plus beta Tny, because here the Tn is a linear, which is equal to be alpha times Tx plus beta times Ty when we apply the limits. So here we have a T is a linear because Tn is a linear. Now consider the norm of a Tx is equal to be norm of a limit of a Tnx, which is equal to be limit of a norm of a Tnx, which is less than equal to be limit of a norm of a Tn into the norm of Ax. And by the here property we have this is less than equal to supremum of a norm of a Tn into the norm of Ax, which is equal to be supremum of a norm of a Tn into the norm of Ax. Also we note that the modulus of a norm of a Tm minus the norm of a Tn is less than equal to be norm of a Tm minus Tn, which converges to be 0. Therefore, the norm of a Tn sequence is a Cauchy sequence of a real numbers and hence convergent and bounded. So there exists a k greater than equal to be 0 such that the supremum of a Tnx, supremum of a Tn is less than equal to be k and hence the norm of a Tx is less than equal to be k times norm of Ax. Thus T is a bounded. Now finally we have to show that this Tn converges to be T. Consider the norm of a Tnx minus Tx, which is equal to be the norm of a Tnx minus Tmx plus Tmx minus Tx. So by the definition of a property of a norm, we have this is less than equal to be norm of a Tn minus Tm plus norm of a Tm minus T, and which is less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2 is equal to epsilon, and hence we get the result. So let T be a linear transformation from a linear space n to a non-linear space n1, then T is a continuous at every point of n. So let x1 and x2 be any 2 points of n. Suppose T is continuous at x1 Then for each epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta greater than 0 such that the norm of x minus x1 is less than delta. We have norm of a tx minus tx1 is less than epsilon. So now for a norm of x minus x2 is less than delta, we have this can be rewrite this term like norm of x plus x1 minus x2 minus x1 is less than delta. So we have norm of a t of a x plus x1 minus x2 minus of a t of x1 is less than epsilon. So by the linearity of a t, we can use up here. So this is equal to be norm of a tx plus tx1 minus tx2 minus tx1 is less than epsilon. So that is we get that norm of a tx minus tx2 is less than epsilon. And this shows that t is continuous at x2 as well. Now since x1 and x2 are arbitrary points, so we can show that we have, if t is continuous at any particular point, then it is continuous at all the points. Thank you. These are the some of the references.